Cobra Claw, one of ours! But who's flying it?
Coming up on Crossfire Collectibles, G.I. Joe Classified Series number 152, Cobra Pilot and Cobra Claw, Covert Light Aerial Weapon. Stick around. What's up, and welcome to Crossfire Collectibles. Today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 152, Cobra Pilot and Cobra Claw. This is the Covert Light Aerial Weapon, Cobra's little mini glider that they use to fly around and cause mass chaos. But very cool. We're glad we got these in, and I actually picked up a couple of them, but we're only going to open one to check it out, see how it goes. But first, let's check this box out. So here you have the pilot over here. As you see, you get another female, two different heads. She's got the red helmet like the Cobra pilots. Very cool. Bunch of Cobra claws here on the front coming from the G.I. Joe base. You see a rattler down here. There's another rattler up there. Some explosions going on. Neat, neat, neat. Cobra Pilot and Cobra Claw down here. Up on the top, there's the Cobra logo and 152. Off to the side, you have some stats here. QR code if you'd like to scan it. Around to the back, you see 152 up in the corner. You got a close-up of this, looks like a digital map on the Cobra Pilot's forearm here. You have claw on one of the rear fins. You see the extra pieces that go into the wings here. A couple of blast effects, missiles, some more guns that come with the pilot here as well. And there's an additional head in there. Figure stands at 5.9 inches. Around to this side, you have a nice artist render of the Cobra Pilot right here. I'm kind of aiming down, shooting at someone. 152 at the bottom. Down onto the bottom, you have UPC here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this popped open. But first, please subscribe to the channel. Alright, so the Cobra Claw in hand. It's very cool. I was kind of looking forward to this. I like when they give you the vehicles, you know, regardless if they're the smaller or larger one. Still nice to have. And let's go ahead and start getting the contents out. Here you have your accessory box, 152 at the top, Cobra logo, 152 on the side. Around to the back, Cobra Pilot and Cobra Claw, Covert Light Aerial Weapon. We'll get to that, but first we're going to get everything else out. Crap. Alright, here's the pilot in the plastic dungeon. So I don't see an additional head like it showed on the back, but you do have the Caucasian version here, the African American version, and of course our red helmet. I'm assuming that the other one, or a mask, whatever, might be in that accessory box, so we'll get to that shortly. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the insert out. And there is the claw. So we need to get this out. So give me a moment to go ahead and remove all this from its packaging. Alright, so here's the claw. Of course, we're missing some pieces that are likely in the accessory box that we got to check out, but let's go ahead and look it over. Here you see 23Z, Cobra logo, nice details on it. You have that light gray color, black accents, and then the red for the Cobra symbol over here. You have some silver metallic up here. Up to the front, it almost looks like a green, kind of very, very light green metallic. Flip around to the side, danger, jet, danger again. You got your control bars up here. Nice little ratchet joint in there. You have the vest that'll allow you to put the figure inside so it holds it securely to the claw. A couple of retractable wheels here on ball joints. So you can see you can bring these down and this will come out to the side. You can fold that to the side as well. Bring that down, and this out and to the side. And then you could lay that down. And then you have some nice wheeled action. Very nice. So we'll set that off to the side for a moment. We'll do the figure last, but let's go ahead and pop into the accessory box here. We'll go ahead and slice it at the top and check our contents. So, see, we've got a couple of bags here. So we'll start with the first Cobra bag. Pop it open. And there we go. So this will be the Cobra Pilot's accessories. As you can see, they gave her a stand. They haven't done that before with any of these vehicle packs, so I'm really happy to see the vintage collection style stands that they give us. Very nice. Got that glossy black Cobra logo, two pegs on each side to be able to plug into the figure's feet. And then we have a bunch of weapons here. So let's check this one out. You have this large automatic, I think it says a shotgun here. And there is your drum that you can plug right into the bottom, all black. It's got those very light gray accents. And you can see the shells down here in the bottom, red with the gold ends. So very, very cool. Hole at the end of the barrel for a blast effect. Nice. Here is the additional pilot's head. So you have that masked face. So that's nice. I may end up using this, which is probably more than likely. But before we go any further with that stuff, we'll go ahead and finish off the accessories. Pistol here. So typical all black pistol. Some nice detail on it. A couple grooves at the bottom. That's a little bit different. It's got that extended barrel piece, so you can plug the suppressor on there if you like. It looks like I may have a little issue with the end of my suppressor here. I don't think they drilled the hole out all the way, but it looks like there would be an area to put a blast effect. However, we don't need it really. And then we'll check out our Uzi here. Magazine not removable. We've seen this before plenty of times with Snake Eyes. And then you can go ahead and plug your suppressor onto the end of that, and then you have an extra one if you need. So really nice. You got some good accessories with the COBRA Pilot here. We'll get them off to the side, and we'll put the stand on the figure, an extra head, get that off to the side, and we'll mess with that in a moment. Let's go on to our second COBRA bag here, and we'll get this opened. All right, so here's the rest of the pieces for the claw. You see you have an additional pair of flaps that you would snap onto the back here. So all gray with the black accents. There's an 8 on this one, nothing on this side. A pair of missiles here, all black. So really cool. We'll get them popped on somewhere. The extensions for the ends of the wings. So you see the areas here where the missiles will go onto. You have that very, very light green metallic end right here on each one. And then you have a green light and a red light. So very cool. Snap them on when we get to it. And then we got a couple of blast effects here. So these will be the exhaust from the claw itself. So very nice looking. You see you have a pair here. They look pretty identical. You have the smoke blast along with the flame trail coming behind it. A couple of pegs on each end so you can plug them right into the back. Let's see where they would go on here. There's very small holes on the back of these turbine engines here. So we'll go ahead and plug in one right there and the other right here just to check them out. There we go. So really, really nice. For the time being, we'll go ahead and take those off, and we're gonna go ahead and finish putting our claw together. So I don't think it matters which side this goes onto, but I think I'm gonna go ahead with the top here, and we'll snap that in right there. Looking at the box, I don't see that 8 showing on the bottom of the claw, so I think this is the right way. It really doesn't matter. I'll get those 2 flaps popped on each end here. We'll come up to the wings, snap on that extra end here, and then on the other side. So there's the claw. It's actually pretty wide, more than a foot I think, probably closer to 13, 14 inches. We'll bring out our missiles here, and we'll go ahead and get one popped on to this end. Get that right there, and then we'll come up to the other side here and snap this one in right there. And there we go. I think that's it for our claw. So we'll get that off, and then we'll go ahead and bring our pilot back in. So we have the stand, which is awesome. And I also assume you would probably need this if you're going to put the claw on the figure and have her stand. But let's go ahead and get out her helmet and extra head, and then we'll check the figure out. All right, so here she is, and looks pretty good. Just a repaint of a Valkyrie, some additional new accessories. You know, you have that vest on right here, or type of web gear that she has with the ammo mags in it. Looks like another walkie or communication device of some type with the tube running through it. And you have that little digital map on her arm, which is really cool. I really like that part. That's nice. Holster down here on the right thigh. It looks pretty good. Just typical repaint, of course, but you do have the addition of the red helmet here for that COBRA Pilot. So that's really nice. Hopefully we'll get another type of pilot in a way that will get a male figure. Nothing sexist against the female and all. I just think we need an extra male in here. But we'll check out the portrait on this one. You see the African American, very, very nice. So we'll pop that head off, and we'll bring in our Caucasian version. Snap that on. There you go. Almost looks like the same color eyes, really. But, nah, I think it was just the glare. Still pretty nice. Get that one out of here. And then we'll bring in our masked pilot head. And I think this is going to be the one I'm going to go with. So it looks good. You have the blue hood and then the black mask coming over it. Some ports on each side here, as well as some grates in the front and the silver metallic lens. Looking over the rest of the suit, black flight suit. It's got the blue accents on it, especially down here on the shin pads. Some underneath the arms, which is really nice. The blue going across the chest with the Cobra logo. Almost looks like you could have a knife area that would go up in here, but the figure does not come with one. Check around through the back, more or less all black as well. You have some blue here and a little more on the tops of the hands. So, nice looking figure. Let's go ahead and get that helmet popped on. See how it looks on this masthead. That looks pretty good. So let's check out the articulation. Head is on a ball joint. Rotate full 360, angle to the sides, forward and backward. You have range of motion in the neck there. Off to the shoulders, you have a light butterfly joint here on the shoulder. Arm can come up about that far. Can rotate full 360. You have bicep swivel. Double jointed pinless elbows. The little digital map here is not attached to the forearm, so it can move around, which is nice. The helmet doesn't like me. Down at the hands, you have the hinge pegs at the wrist to allow the hands to do a full 360. These can angle down and up on the right side, and they can angle down and up as well on the left. So very nice. With that vest on, we get a little bit of ab crunch backward and then forward. You have some side-to-side tilting and then some waist rotation. Down at the legs, up at the tops of the hips, you have drop leg. Leg can come forward that far, back that far, and out to the side that far. Thigh rotation, double jointed pinless knees. You have calf rotation at the bottom of the pants and the tops of the boots. Down at the ankle, hinge peg to allow the foot to come that far forward, that far up, and a side-to-side pivot. Then on the bottom of the feet, you have the two holes to plug the figure's feet into the stand here. Let's go ahead and get her stood onto that. So there we go. We'll go ahead and bring in a little bit of gear and gear her up. So we'll go ahead and slap the pistol in there. As much as I would like to go ahead and use a weapon, or actually we can for a moment here, just to, you know, gear her all up without the claw. Get everything on her, just like that. Here we go. There's the figure. She looks pretty nice. I think we're going to go ahead, before we mess with the claw and put the figure on it, bring in a couple comparisons. Alright, so here's the Cobra Pilot with the Retro Collection Cobra Trooper. Here's the Cobra Pilot with the Retro Collection Storm Shadow. And the Cobra Pilot with the Retro Collection Cobra Commander. So I brought Cobra Commander out because I do want to try him on the claw. We'll actually do that later on in the video. But first, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of these figures out of here. I'm going to de-weaponize this Cobra Pilot here. And now we're going to go ahead and put the figure onto the claw here. So let's move her back a minute. And we'll see how these straps look. So they do pretty much just unplug from each side, just like that. So you should have easy access to put around the figure here. We'll slide the figure up onto it, and then we will get those waistbands pulled back through and tighten them up. Doesn't look like there's any back pegs to be able to plug into the back of the figure, so that way it would hold a little more securely, but hopefully this this vest here will do the trick. We just got to make it really secure and tight. So the female figure does a bit smaller. Tighten it up like that, and it seems to work okay. I like how these extended fins back here will come down to actually give it a little more balance at the bottom, so it's pretty stable, and that's a nice touch. So then we can go ahead and bring the figure's hands up and attach them onto the controls of the claw here and here. Plug gotta head back down. And then there we go. So not too bad. Have it flying. You know, if you want, we can go ahead and fold those wheels back down and put them in. I may end up hanging one of these, you know, from my ceiling. Get them wheels back in like that. Just have it, you know, gliding around, looking pretty cool. Having those blast effects coming out from the back here. So I think that's a really, really nice touch. It really looks great. So we're gonna go ahead and put the claw to the side right here for a moment. And now we're gonna show you some vehicle comparisons. All right, here is the claw with the ferret. And here is the claw with the trouble bowl. I think these look absolutely great together. I can't wait to get them all like, geared up and set up in my collection. It's gonna look great. All right, so there were some comparisons for you. We're gonna go ahead and take the pilot off because I'd like to see how the claw looks with another figure on it. So we'll go ahead and release her from her harness here and get her pulled out. Get that stand out of here. And now I wanna try Cobra Commander. So the idea was to use Storm Shadow, that's why I brought him out. But so at the beginning of the video, you know, as well you see at the beginning of G.I. Joe the movie, you know, Cobra Commander is flying around on a claw. And he's going to bring in that detonator to try to blow up the Statue of Liberty. So we're going to go ahead and put Cobra Commander on here. And we don't have a detonator handy, so we're not going to worry about it. But we will get him strapped in and see how he looks with the claw. Probably one-handed, because he does have his pointing finger on. So he's a bit top heavy, but it still looks good. I mean, if we were to, you know, hang the figure up, you know, by some string, as well as the vehicle, you know, have him flying around, I think it would look pretty good. Have him pointing, you know, attack! Something like that, but I think he looks great on it. However, he does stand a bit higher, and these points down here will not actually touch the ground, so it makes him a bit top heavy. I mean, I'm sure we mess around with it a bit. We could get him to stand pretty stable, but for the meantime, this is what we got. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and take our Cobra Pilot and Claw, pop it up onto the turntable, and we will give you some final thoughts.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Be sure to check out our previous videos. A link will always be pinned in the comments.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
All right, so here you have it. The G.I. Joe Classified Series number 152, the Cobra Pilot and Cobra C.L.A.W. Covert Light Aerial Weapon. Awesome, awesome vehicle. I'm so glad they brought this out. This is like perfect size for classified figures if you don't want to have a giant area filled with, you know, extremely large, extra wide HasLab vehicles. We do have the Rattler still that I haven't even taken out the box, so we got to get to all that yet, but I just can't even imagine how big that's going to be. I still got to figure out places for it, but this claw is excellent. I love the detail on it. It really brings back that classic look. You have the 4 different wheels with those ball joints that you can extend out, turn, all kinds of stuff. The additional flaps that you can pull in from the backs and the sides here. And then you have the extra missiles. The gear, the maneuvering gear up in the front here is attached to them small ratchets, and you can move them around, so that's really nice. You have that back turret gun right there, along with an extendable barrel here on this one. Those extra pieces here, I guess they're just like some type of flap that will come down, are great for the female figure, but they don't work too well with the male figures. So you want to stand the figure up. As you see, we don't have the stand on it, but the figure could stand pretty properly, you know, with those little back ends right there, and it's really nice. I really like that. I love the additions of 2 extra heads, as well as the masthead here. She has some great weapon accessories with her, and then you also have those blast effects that come out the back of the claw, which absolutely look great. The addition of the stand is a major plus. That can't be better than, you know, to actually give all your figures some stands, so that's awesome. So now I can't wait to see what the next one's going to be that they haven't announced yet, but I think we have an All Striker coming, and then we have the Snake Armor, so should be with us soon, and we'll get those videos up for you. But if you're a Cobra collector, you need to get this claw. It is excellent. Check out that little decal on the side. You have the actual raptor talon right there of the claw with claw underneath of it. Super, super cool, but great little vehicle accessory as well as the figure. I love it. I couldn't say enough nice things about it. But that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please, like always, leave that giant thumbs up, subscribe, tickle that bell so you're notified when we post future videos. Be sure to follow us on social media, and until then, we will see you in the next one. Peace.